Alright, so this is my, this has been about 6 months or so since I put up a video. I keep recording videos and then I'll change some stuff and I'll think like, oh, I'll just make another video, and then 6 months goes by and I've got a ton of videos and none of them were put up, but yeah, some stuff that I've changed, like I talked about the airbox in the last one right now. I've got my little voltmeter in there right now, but I put this in, this little rubber or silicone, whatever that is, grommet. It's for the air temperature sensor, and I wired in the air temperature sensor, so all the wiring is completely done. Yeah, and I have to do. I made this little electrical box that wasn't in the last video, and I put these little troubleshooting lights there. So basically, whenever the circuit's energized like it's supposed to be, that light lights up, saying that the power down the line from the relay is triggered on. So it's not on the trigger side that would show that there's a signal going to the relay. It's on the power side coming out of it. And just for safety reasons, I've got a hidden relay that I can, it's pretty well hidden. I can just pull it out if I'm going to be away from the car for a couple weeks. I don't have to worry about somebody, I don't know, stalking my YouTube channel, following my video updates, and then somehow they know where I live, and then they just take the car whenever I'm gone. So, but yeah, I need to make a battery tray to hold the battery. I don't know. I thought about just cutting up some 2x4 and putting it underneath so you can't really see it, but I'll probably do a better job and try to bolt something together and take a marine box and cut it in half or something. But wideband O2 sensor, that's connected, that's wired in. It's here, AEM wideband with a gauge. And let's see, the power for this is actually wired in with the power that goes to the car's computer. So if the car computer shuts itself off, then it kills the gauge. It's not that, it's not like it's that big of a deal. It was confusing at first because it would be on for a second whenever the fuel pump was priming, and then whenever the fuel pump shut off, it would shut off. So, but yeah, it's that O2 sensor. I'm actually not going to wire in. I'm just using it to plug the hole. I can't connect more than one O2 sensor to the Autronic computer. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, this valve cover here that wasn't in the last video, I picked it up. It's actually for a 3S GTE, the turbo models. My head, I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the other videos, the head is actually 3S GE, non-turbo, and now it's got the turbo valve cover gasket on it. I switched it out because the 3S GE, the non-turbo, it's got a side inlet intake manifold, so that the intake is here. The intake manifold bolts up to the turbo intake manifold with the center inlet, bolts into the head, but the throttle body, actually, the old intake, the old valve cover would get scratched up really bad. So I was looking for a turbo one, and unfortunately I found a nice blue one to go with the rest of my blue stuff that I have everywhere. But yeah, so that's nice. One of the only problems with it is there's a hole. I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually down there in the top of the valve cover. It's I think it's a support for the water to air intercooler that comes on the GT4. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't looked up what the hole is actually in the middle of the valve cover for, but it seals off against the 3S GTE head. It's just a 3S GE head. It's just an open gap. So I patched that up with I cut out some really thin metal and actually siliconed it to the bottom of the valve cover. And there's a little gap there. Same little problem. I'm just going to probably fill it in with some silicone because it's a tiny gap. Another thing to make note of is you can tell I have a distributor, but there's no wires coming out of it. The reason is because I have these, I've mentioned in other videos, that I'm not going to go much in depth on. From the, 99, 2000, or either 2000, 2001 Jetta 1.8 turbo, 1.8T, individual coils. And that is all ran by the Autronic, which I actually tuning it a little bit, configuring the computer, not tuning it, but just configuring the computer before I turn the key, and then get it running and everything. So I'm only using the distributor, 1, to plug the hole, but 2, as a timing signal for the computer, for the Autronic computer, so that it's a SM4. By the way, I'm saying Autronic, but there's a few different Autronics. It's an SM4 model. So I'm just using the pickup that's inside of the distributor, and there's a blanking cap that I want to get that caps off the end of the distributor that, well, it would be nice to have, just to cap off where it doesn't look like it's a distributor, and it would free up a little bit of space. Right now my turbo piping is off because it's down there. I'm siliconing it all together because I can't find someone that'll weld aluminum, that has the stuff to weld aluminum. So I have all the piping, but right now it's, yeah. And so yeah, but it's not really going to matter much right now because I'm going to leave the turbo disconnected while I'm going to tune it as an NA car. And then connect the turbo and tune it again. So I'll connect like all the turbo piping and go into the intake and then tune it that way. So it won't be tuned as an NA car for long, but it'll be, yeah, it's a little bit better that way. So I've pressure washed it since the last video too, so it's considerably cleaner. Partly because I wanted to have a laptop around it, and I didn't want it greasy fingers pressing like keys on the laptop. It's not even my laptop. I had to borrow my friend's like 7-year-old laptop that actually had the serial connection so that I could interface with the computer, because I didn't want to buy the adapter, USB adapter for my laptop, which I'll probably buy anyway. But yeah, so I'm siliconing all the couplers together to the pipe so that it's nice. What else? It's still too light outside right now for the lights inside the timing cover. But I talked about that in another video. Let's see. Yeah, that's kind of it. The exhaust is the coolest thing. That's the thing that I'm probably most excited about with this whole car. As you can see, it's 3-inch piping. Well, not really as you can see. I don't know if you can eyeball the size of that just based off of the camera. There's nothing to reference. There's no frame of reference in looking at it. But basically, I've got a 3-inch downpipe all the way off the turbo. And then there's a guy coming who's going to weld it Saturday, I think. But off the turbo, 3 inches, flex pipe into, that's a Dynamax high flow catalytic converter, 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet, and I have a 3-inch to 2.5-inch reducer on the backside of it that'll mate up to the rest of my 2.5-inch piping that goes all the way out to and then I've got a Borla muffler that's already connected. That was on the old engine. But the coolest thing is I'm going to have 3-inch exhaust all the way into the catalytic converter from the turbo, which is it's not restricted very well at all. And then the catalytic converter, 1, it's high flow, and 2, it's 3 inches, which kind of like in my mind makes it like this ultra high flow catalytic converter. So, and then after that, it drops down to 2.5 inches because I mean it's catalytic is going to restrict some flow by itself. I'm just trying to be, I don't know, environmentally friendly. So, but yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet, and then 2.5-inch reducer. So basically 3-inch inlet, 2.5-inch reducer. But yeah, let's see. And I'm going to turn the key. Just to, not to start it up, but where's the key? Gauge comes on. Hear the fuel pump priming. Got my little serial cable plugged into the back of the laptop. And now the computer's on, battery's low voltage, and you know all the sensors are plugged in, all the sensors work. I've got to keep tuning it a little bit before I can actually turn the key and start it. Not tuning, I keep saying tuning. I have to keep configuring the computer so that I can actually turn the key and and semi-successfully start it, enough to where it'll kind of putter along, and then, yeah, but my nice cool lights showing that the circuit's energized, and that's an extra relay there. I'll just use it for something else later on, but put a hole there for it anyway. But regular LEDs, I have a, what is it, a 1/4 watt resistor on 3-volt LEDs, which drops the voltage from 12 volts to 3 volts. And then, this will be fun, I bought 8 watt resistors. I actually want to put on the signal side going to each one of these, because each one of these coils has, it's got a built-in igniter. So what I want to do is go off the wire that's directly on the coil, coming from the computer, going into the igniter, so that basically the signal, and then use that wire in the 8 watt resistor, which drops it to 5 volts, which is what the signal is for these coils. I think it'll be kind of cool. And you can see, if you look in there, you see the lights inside the timing cover that I put. I talked about how the safety concerns that I thought about with that. The leads for the LED, which are basically the legs that stick out of the back of the LED, are sticking through. One's folding one way, one's folding the other way, and they're all wired in series. And I have 4 of them in there. So they're wired in series, all like, you know, back to back. So the negative of one is going to the positive of the other. And they're all wired in on the outside, covered with black RTV silicone gasket maker, and then spray painted with truck bed liner. So there's absolutely no way they can go in and get hung inside the cover, because the lights just stick through on the inside, and they're wired in on the outside. But yeah, 4th gen alternator bolts in fine to the 3rd gen bracket. Got a little bit of a gap on the bottom, but I don't know if that's actually supposed to be there or not. Taped all my wires together, as you can see. I was getting tired of the plastic flex line stuff that goes over, so I just taped all the wires together, and then I ran power wires for some other stuff, and I don't know, I might go over it and tape that again, but mostly it's together. Yeah, this is really exciting. My cruise control I can leave connected. I took the bracket off the bottom, and it's actually sitting on the top of the air intake pipe that goes into the turbo. So, and all I have left to do really, aside from putting gas in it, is I'm going to make a bracket. I've already marked off on some aluminum that I have. I'm going to cut up everything to size and then bolt it in there in the side, run it out, and then get one of those little throttle cable clamps. I have one on an extra throttle body somewhere, from like a 5SFE or something like that, and then just bolt it into the side of the bracket and make sure it clears the hood so that I don't get any cuts on the hood. But this is exciting. It's exciting to almost be done with this, and yeah, but it'll be really fun to actually get this thing started so I can mess around with the computer and adjust how much fuel is going into the engine and the timing and spark, and mess around with it. But anyway, that's it for this video update. The next video will most likely be this car running, because I can't think of anything else that I would actually make a video for to cover. Last thing, I don't know if I mentioned this in the other video, but my motor mount has been a pain to the one in the back. It was a pain to actually bolt that thing in, because I left it, the engine sitting in the car with the other 3 connected, and then that one that's by the firewall, I left it disconnected. I need a K&N. I'm going to get a little K&N breather for that. Yeah. So, or probably like a little 7/8 elbow right there, and then a little 7/8 inside diameter coupler, and then put the K&N breather on the side so that it kind of hangs off to the side, and that way it's not bumping the coil right there. But yeah, everything is the cooling system is sealed up. I had to take off that fan on that side. If it starts running hot, then I'm going to have to figure out something else, maybe get a flatter fan, but it bumps my turbo piping whenever I have it bolted in, which is a little bit of a pain. But yeah, cooling system is sealed up. Air intake system is sealed up on the manifold side. I still have to finish up the piping over here, get some more couplers and pipes unless I can find somebody that can weld aluminum. I stopped buying couplers and piping stuff because I actually want somebody to weld it up. I don't want to have to worry about air leaks and all that stuff. So, but I'm not going to go too much in detail, even if somebody asks about the wiring on this, just for safety reasons. I don't want to have to worry about when I'm trying to sleep at night if it's actually getting stolen. So, or if somebody's plotting to steal it. I don't know, whatever. People like to take other people's things, so I don't want to have to think about it. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already.